Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. That's an expression that we usually use around planning weddings, but today we're going to look at some coins that meet all of those criteria. We'll talk about it. First, we're going to talk about something old, and if you can barely read out this well-worn coin, it has a date of 1772 on it. Let's flip around and look at the other side. So on this side we have an eagle. This is a 5 Kopek coin from Russia, and while it is something old, it is also something heavy. And let me hold it up here. This is easily the heaviest coin I own. Now, it's, like I say, it's from 1772, so being nearly 250 years old, it's something that is that old, going to be in either very expensive out of my price range, or it's going to be well worn. And that one is very well worn, but the reason most people think about this coin is that it's heavy. Now, that goes back in the day when the size of the coin was based on how much the metal content in it was worth. And so you would make coins out of copper, and when they got too big, you'd start making them out of silver, and when those got too big, you'd start making them out of gold. So at the time that Russia made this, during the era of Catherine the Great, they must have thought they wanted some really heavy copper coins and had not yet made this one out of silver. So as a comparison with a coin that you might be familiar with, we're going to put a $50 on that. And so a $50 is going to just, if you measure the diameter, is going to be about 30.5 millimeters around. Whereas this coin from Russia, this 5 Kopek coin, is going to be 42 millimeters. And so a lot larger than that. If you're younger than 40, you are probably not familiar with an Eisenhower dollar. And really, for the longest time, I wasn't either, even though they were made, this one was made the year I was born. You can see this copper coin is still larger than the Eisenhower dollar, which the Eisenhower dollar is going to be 38 millimeters around, where, again, the Russian coin was 42 millimeters. But where it's really different is on the thickness of the coin. And the Eisenhower dollar is 2 millimeters thick, and the Russian coin is about 4 millimeters thick. So when we talk about the weight, you measure it, most people would measure this in grams, and so the copper coin is 51 grams, whereas the old Eisenhower dollar is only about 22.5 grams, and so quite the heavy coin. I don't think I have any coin that is larger than that. So while we're talking about a heavy coin, I'm going to add to that the smallest coin I own. And we're going to look at that right there. And for a comparison for this one, we're going to put a dime right next to it. And so the largest coin next to the smallest coins I own. I guess they felt bad charging $1 for one coin, so they put 3 in the lot here. So this is going to be from a place you've probably never heard of. It's from the Kingdom of Travancore. And that country is now part of India. It's in the southern part of India. These coins date back to about the 1920s. They're called 1 cash. They are 11.3 millimeters around, and have a thickness less than 1 millimeter. They are 0.8 millimeters. So the weight of these coins are 0.48 grams. So these are less than 1/100th of the weight of the large Russian Catherine the Great era coins. So that is something old. Now we're going to talk about something new. Another country that maybe you've never heard of. Let's see if we can get it to focus there. That is the country of Eswatini. And if you've never heard of Eswatini, that's because it's a country that's existed for a while that got a new name. We'll put the an older coin side by side, and we're going to have Swaziland. And so in 2018, Swaziland changed their name to Eswatini. It was officially recognized by the United Nations also in 2018. So our coin on the left, also minted in 2018, is 10 cents. We're going to flip that around. And see the 10 cents there from 2018. Might as well flip over this older 5-cent coin while we're at it. You can tell on the front of the coin they kept the same design, the same, I guess, perhaps that's the same king, but this coin was sold to me from, get the name of them there, AfricanCollectible.com. I actually found this on eBay. They also sent their business card. They specialize in Africa banknotes and coins. I thought that was interesting. While they're at it, they're nice enough to throw in a Times Square postcard for me, probably just to keep the coin from getting messed up there. So that is something new, a coin from Eswatini, which you may have never heard of. So we're going to go with something borrowed. We've got this coin right here of man landing on the moon. And I'm going to call this something borrowed because this is not a coin from the United States. This is a coin from the Republic of the Marshall Islands. And it has a value on here of, does it say on this side? It's either $5 or $10. Okay, it says on here that it is $5. So every Marshall Islands coin I've ever seen looks like that on one side, but then has a different design on here. So I'm going to call this something borrowed because this is an American moment. I guess people around the world were taking an interest in man landing on the moon, and so Marshall Islands has a history of making coins celebrating things that people from other countries are going to purchase. And this coin was dated in 1989 to celebrate an event that happened in 1969. And so that was, at the time, it was only the 20-year anniversary of man landing on the moon. Now, the funny thing was, I actually purchased this coin from my favorite coin store, which is the Coin Purse in Green Hills. I purchased this literally a couple of days before the 50th anniversary, which happened, of course, in the summer of 2019. And I was completely oblivious to the fact that a couple of days later, people were going to celebrate the event of the man landing on the moon. But they had celebrated the 20th anniversary with this coin from the Marshall Islands. Now, even though it's called a coin, you're not going to find people circulating these or spinning these in the Marshall Islands. These were made pretty much just for collectors. And so I know that some of the books that I read debate on whether or not to even consider this a coin, but it's, it is made by the mint, or at least sponsored by this country's mint. So made as a collector's piece. Now for something blue, we're going to bring in this envelope here, which has these colorful coins in them. Let's flip them all around here. This is an envelope that came to me, you'll see the stamp here, from Moldova. And while we're at it, let's look at the stamp on here is about at least 2 inches wide, also from Moldova. I thought it was interesting that the value of this, it wasn't just 15.5, it was 15.501. So I guess they 15.5 was not going to get the job done of postage on something like this. So in 2014, the country of Transnistria, and let me pause for a moment, that you've probably never heard of Transnistria. So I'm going to back up and say that when the Soviet Union collapsed and all of these countries that made up the Soviet Union returned to their previous country. So Moldova again became a country, where there's some people occupying Moldova that wanted to make their own country of Transnistria. Now, at first, the people of Transnistria and the rest of Moldova fought about it, but then I guess they realized it was not worth fighting over, so they've just been not happy with each other now for 20 years or so. I'm not a geopolitical expert. That's kind of the basic knowledge I've got of it. But Transnistria is not recognized by the United Nations. They're not recognized probably by any other country. But since they've recognized themselves, they mint their own coins. They have their own currency. They also call it the ruble, just like Moldova and Russia. And they've, like a lot of countries, they have been facing hyperinflation. So in 2014, when they reissued the ruble, they decided to make some coins that were almost more paper-like than coins, because with paper money, you can have a lot of security features that you can't do on a metal coin, and they came up with these. And so, first of all, for convenience sake, each of these denominations is a different color and a different shape, and so that is something of a convenience here. We've got the yellow circle is a 1, the green square-like one is 3, the blue pentagon is 5, and the red hexagon is 10. And we were talking about Catherine the Great earlier, and so Catherine the Great actually appears on the 10 ruble coin right here. So another thing that I think is interesting on the back here is all of these are going to look about the same with the colors on the back. They would call it micro printing, where it would be difficult to counterfeit that. But these are made out of plastic, but it is some kind of composite plastic. That would be, it's a very heavy duty. It's would be hard for me to break that. So you've got kind of the another feature that you have with coins is they last longer than paper money. So these are going to last longer than paper money. And a lot of people might not be happy with plastic coins because that just doesn't feel right. But maybe it wasn't that big of a success, because even though these were made in 2014, no one else to my knowledge has tried it since. Of course, there have been plenty of countries that have printed ink or colorized a metal coin, but no one else has made a colorful plastic coin to my knowledge. And so we've got these from Transnistria. So I hope that you enjoyed this tour of different kinds of coins. If you like this video, hey, go ahead and like the video. And if you want me to make more videos about coins, feel free to subscribe. And I make coins where I go through all kinds of different collectibles, coins, baseball cards, Hot Wheels and die-cast cards, stamps. So tell me what you want to see more videos of. We'll see what we can do with foreign coins here. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.